Okay, I get some people aren't gonna agree with this, but Deltarune Chapter 5 was actually good. And yes, it might not be the majority, but still. I do agree that yes, maybe Asgore could have had more screen time than he did in the current, but once you actually understand what Toby Fox was trying to get you to realize, you would see that it's actually not that bad. First, the flowers. The flowers are meant to represent different aspects of Asgore. He literally states that he's had them ever since college, so it makes sense that their Dark World versions would do that, though. I don't know if really any of us predicted that before Chapter 5, though. And yes, I get that maybe Asgore himself didn't have enough screen time despite the chapter being for him. That's not enough to just write off the chapter as a whole as bad. Yes, he could have had more screen time, but that doesn't mean that the entire chapter as a whole is down the drain. Asgore is a man with a lot of grief mixed with self-guilt and blame, which explains why he kind of spends most of the chapter, trying to find provable evidence of that incident he was talking about, which is I'm guessing led up to the divorce and what he kind of blames himself about. Asgore in a lot of ways is similar to Mew Mew. If you want to go learn about her, go watch my previous video. But he's pretty similar to Mew Mew, saying that he doesn't really have an overall impact on the entire narrative, but for his time, he's done perfect though. He's done perfect for what he's trying to prove. Asgore actually has something that I guess kind of made up. It's called flawed escapism. It might be self-explanatory, but I'm still gonna explain it. This is basically how somebody's trying to escape from reality, but even in whatever fantasy they're living in, the real struggles of reality eventually start to pour into the fantasy, whether it be behaviors, events in the story fantasy, items, dialogue, whatever it is. It just starts to trickle into the fantasy, because you can't keep running away from reality. And I'd go as far as to say that Asgore and Susie are two of the best examples of this, though rather than trying to escape further, Susie acknowledges that they're gonna eventually need to actually fight the night, though. Despite all the adventures, I like how Susie still acknowledges that it's still dangerous and can potentially kill them and destroy the world too. And this is something I feel like Toby could have done better. Like flawed escapism, Toby could have used that as a way to actually, I'd say, implement an Asgore fight. Now obviously Asgore isn't gonna fight Chris. I heavily doubt it. But even if it's just between Susie and Rousey, his motivation would literally be to stall them, just like Flowery did, so that he can still have enough time to actually prove his point. And saying that he's been collecting clues from past Dark Worlds, it would make sense he wouldn't want it all to end in just the matter of maybe a few hours. The divorce and the incident he was talking about are his two main motivations for getting as obsessed as he did trying to find evidence for what he was trying to find once in the castle. I do really think that the obsession combined with the fact that he literally pushed Chris and Susie out of the Dark World and told Chris specifically for some reason to not come back really shows how affected he's been by the divorce and whatever incident that was. And that plus the self-guilt and the struggle of him trying to prove it. But it makes sense it makes sense why he did it, because it would make sense he really wouldn't want anybody that was part of his family or knew about his family to see what he was doing before he even got the evidence ready. It really makes sense when you think about it that way. And this is why I'm saying this is good for his character and the chapter as a whole, because it fits him. From the incident in the divorce to the flowers showing and saying, representing whatever you want to call it, his life struggles, the way he gets obsessed with trying to prove himself in the castle, and the way he learns at the end that he's only making it worse, and with the potential fact that there's a chance nobody blamed him at all, and that it was his own choices that did that, fit him so well. And to double back on the tackle scene, I feel like Asgore, I'm gonna be honest, I feel like Asgore probably would have did that to anybody that he saw from hometown though. Since potentially really anybody could see him and tell, so it'd make sense to just throw them out as soon as he saw them. And yes, while his development largely happened off screen, it's still good development though. At the end is when he really realizes that he's really only making it worse for himself and his family, aka Chris. And seeing basically both of his families fighting is really what drove it home to him when he had that realization though. If you want to go watch my other video on why pink is important to Deltarune chapter 5, you can go watch that. I'll put that in the description. And please like and subscribe